what's up guys, how's it going, and welcome to the Minute channel. Today we are gonna be talking about a video that I actually did a long time ago, maybe like about 2 years ago, right before Persona 5 Royal was coming out. We are just kind of talking about Persona 5 and the difference between Persona 5 Royal, and I feel like this video needs to be updated because obviously, one, at the time I had not played Persona 5 Royal, and I think it was just kind of like, oh, seeing the difference between the two and whether I felt like it was kind of worth it or anything. But today we're going to be talking about, should you play Persona 5 or you just play Persona 5 Royal, the difference between the two, kind of just giving you my input after playing both games a few times each. And overall, let me know in the comments down below, how do you feel about this? Do you agree with me or disagree? Which one is your favorite game? Do you feel it's worth it playing Persona 5 Royal or not? And let me know in the comments below. Let's go ahead and jump right to the video. So, initially Persona 5 came out and it was a total success. I think a lot of people that were waiting for Persona 5 were basically just happy with how the game come out and really just thinking about how can they really top Persona 5 with Persona 5 Royal. Like, are they really gonna make something that is gonna be different, and is it really gonna be worth the extra money? And that's really a question but a lot of people really had in their minds, and I think it really showed that all people were really content with how Persona 5 initially released, and I feel like that's a really fair point. I personally thought that way too. I was like, well, Persona 5 really did a good job. I really was content with the game that I had. I really enjoyed the experience of the game, and nothing really made me feel like, oh man, this game felt like incomplete garbage or something like that. Sometimes you do play games and you feel like they're missing something, and sometimes you're like, oh man, this game, and then you see the DLC come out, and like, of course this DLC came out, the game was missing stuff. You always, whenever you feel some you play some games, you tend to feel that way. But with Persona 5, I really feel like it was a complete experience from beginning to the end. Nothing really felt like out of place or anything like that. The story just really felt like it flowed pretty well, and it never really made me feel like, oh man, this game was just missing so much content or anything like that. Originally, you can play this game and you can probably play it for about 100 to 150 hours if you are really on the slower side. So this is a complete package of the game. You get a full story, you get a full set of characters. It really did revamped a lot of the stuff from the original Persona 3 and Persona 4, and it really built up from there on. So what are the difference between Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal? So mainly, to be starters, Persona 5 Royal added another dungeon. It's a brand new storyline which is probably about 20 to 30 hours long. They added two big new characters that you can interact with, and they are really pretty relevant to the story overall. And overall, they added a lot of functions that really fix things in as far as like gameplay aspects. A lot of new mechanics that added new layers to the gameplay and everything like that. And it really, a lot of this stuff really felt really natural. Like, while I was playing Persona 5 Royal, I was like, wait, is this new? Or is this old stuff? Like, even as a veteran, somebody has played Persona 5 a few times, sometimes I was still thinking, but doubting myself. I was like, wait, is this new stuff? Or is this stuff that was already in the game priorly? Every time that I was playing the game, I was constantly just thinking to myself, wow, they really did a seamless addition to Persona 5 Royal when it came to like things like the grappling hook, or a lot of the new gameplay aspects that they added with the show times and the baton pass, some stuff that was already in the game, but for some reason the additions really made it feel like it added a new layer of gameplay. It really felt like a natural progression from Persona 5 to Persona 5 Royal. Now, it is debatable whether the two new main characters that were added in the game were main as far as the storytelling and everything. Some people still to this day debate whether these were good additions or bad additions. Personally, I think that both of them were really well made and really well executed. I really like both of the new stories. The revamped Goro Akechi storyline, which also was a really welcome addition to that. Honestly, overall, they just added a lot of features that made the progression of the dungeons really well made. Some of them were actually shortened a little bit, especially Kamoshida's palace and some other palaces that I feel like they really went through the criticism, because there was especially some criticism on the dungeon aspects, and I think they went through all that and they reward the game in a way that made more sense. Okumura's Palace is one that I know a lot of people really didn't like on the original game, and then looking back into Persona 5 Royal, and it's a really done dungeon. Like they really actually fixed some of the stuff that some people had an issue with. Personally, I thought it was pretty good, so I didn't have like a lot of say on that or anything like that, and was never a fan of that particular dungeon. But looking at all the new aspects, the new things that they added and everything, you can clearly see that they really tried to do something new with that, and I really definitely appreciated those changes on the dungeon aspect and everything. So overall, should you play Persona 5 Royal or should you play Persona 5? Frankly speaking, I feel like the new adding stuff on, whether it's the new stuff for the characters or Goro Akechi or the new dungeon, it's pretty cool, but it doesn't really take away anything from the original story. Like you can play Persona 5 from beginning to end, and you go into Persona 5 Strikers or maybe other games, like you won't really be lost. I think that what the intention of this game, Royal, was just add more stuff, not add as far as layers, you know, like of like, oh man, I could never experience Persona 5 ever again because Royal is much better. But in reality, they added some stuff that just felt like additions, just felt like additional stuff that you can enjoy. The new dungeon did add some additional storyline and they add some more depth into the characters, which is really always welcome. But at the end of the day, you can still experience Persona 5 and still get a good experience. I know Persona 5 goes on sale all the time for like $10, $5, I've seen it before, $15, which is a pretty good price. But personally, I still like Persona 5 Royal better. I still, the new additions were really welcomed, and they did some pretty cool stuff that the previous game just kind of, maybe some things that didn't click super well that they just kind of fixed on Royal. At the end of the day, both of these games, whether Royal or Vanilla, really are on itself pretty good games. I don't think that either person is going to lose anything from playing either version. I would strongly recommend to try to go into Royal just to kind of get that new content, because it does introduce characters, it does fix some stuff that the previous game did a little bit worse, but at the end of the day, it's still up to you as how you want to handle that as far as like additions or how do you want to enjoy the game or anything like that. One thing that I will say is don't play them back to back. Honestly, playing a 100-hour game and then going again and just playing it again, it can be exhausting, especially because the barrier of entry for any other veterans of Persona 5 is going through another 100 hours of Persona 5 before you unlock the Royal content. A lot of this stuff, the new dungeon, the really overarching plot of the new characters really revolves around the third semester, the new content of the game, which only is unlocked after playing the original game. So in reality, you are actually playing the same game, Persona 5, twice before you go into unlocking the Royal content. So that's kind of something that's up to debate as far as whether it's something that is worth it or not. I think some people will feel that it's not worth it, some people feel that it's worth it. And at the end of the day, it's really, I will just say, if you can just skip Persona 5 and you go to Persona 5 Royal, that's good. If you cannot afford Persona 5 Royal for whatever reason and you just can play Persona 5, you will still be good. I feel like some people will still kind of dismiss the fact that Persona 5 was a complete experience, was a complete game, and it's still worth it on its own. It's just a matter of the fact that you have to replay the entire game to get to the Royal content. I'm feeling like if Atlus had done a DLC type of thing like they do with a lot of games, like for example the Witcher games or the Dark Souls games kind of stuff, that you can still experience the original story, but you can also get this awesome 30-hour DLC that adds more to the experience or something. So I personally feel that would have been a good route. Unfortunately, this is not how this works with this game, but you can still play both experiences. At the end of the day, I think that is up to whoever, if you want to experience one or the other, but I definitely recommend going for Royal straight up, just so you can get that extra content. You don't have to burn yourself out as playing the game twice to get the extra stuff or everything. Anyway, that is pretty much in today's discussion video. Please comment down below, what do you think as far as Persona 5 versus Persona 5 Royal? What are some of your differences that you feel like I maybe missed, or maybe you want to touch more on? And do you feel it's worth playing both Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal? I think that is an interesting, up to debate kind of question that I feel like I probably wanted to touch on more on this video. Anyway, go in the comments down below, tell me how you feel about all this, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.